Yep.
So we'll know by the next time. By the next Monday pod we'll have a better idea of that. Okay, moving forward, Kentucky, Alabama. Like I said before, as we were introing the segment here, death taxes, and Kentucky gets run off the floor by a good basketball team. At the very least, Kentucky looks outclassed by a good basketball team. Final score here, 78-52. It was close for the first 10 minutes, and then it was very much not close for the next 30. And that's just kind of been the nature of the beast for Kentucky this year, is that when they play a good team, they don't play well. And they're not even giving themselves chances to win these basketball games late in the second half. So what say you? Does this tell you more about Alabama or tell you more about Kentucky?
Kentucky, because it's hard to take anything away for Alabama doing what what history suggested they were going to do to this Kentucky team.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say that much about Kentucky either, because it's not like any of this is new. The one point I want to make, though, is, and I think Seth Greenberg pointed this out at halftime, and I hadn't really thought about it this way, but it was an astute observation. If you think, I mean, you're very much on board with this idea. If you think Kentucky's offense is bad when Oscar Tshiebwe is doing Oscar Tshiebwe things, now when you have Charles Bediako to play him one-on-one and actually bother him, and I know you're probably going to get to your favorite stat of the weekend, which is how poor Kentucky's some of their best, most important players, including Tshiebwe, were in this game. If you can guard him one-on-one and don't have to always double, that's what I came away thinking about, right? Is that this entire offense is based around Tshiebwe demanding double teams. Not just Tshiebwe, but Tshiebwe forcing the defense to do other things than just guard him.
Sure.
And Alabama just don't have to do that. And so now you've got that combined with Alabama's length and athleticism, which also bothered Houston. They're just difficult to deal with because they've got all these, super long wingspan, NBA-looking guys.
Mm-hmm.
And and they've got a solid defensive center who can hold his own against Tshiebwe. That's just a formula for disaster for Kentucky. That's really all I have to say about it.
Yeah, it's just a continuation of what we've seen all season. Right. Their best win is Michigan, which Michigan getting to Big Ten play has made that win look a little better. Still not great. Their losses, Michigan State in overtime, and then Gonzaga by double digits, UCLA by double digits, Missouri by double digits, and Alabama by double digits. It's pretty stunning how this team just doesn't get up for big games. Because even the worst teams in the country get up for big games sometimes. And you would think that at some point Kentucky was just going to have a Kentucky, I suppose a different performance, because I suppose the argument is that this is a Kentucky performance at this point. And they just don't. Yes, my favorite stat of the weekend is that Jacob Topp and Oscar Tshiebwe and Cason Wallace were 3 of 30 from the field. They took 2 free throws. 2. Listen, Oscar Tshiebwe being the force that he is, him only taking 2 free throws in a game is crazy. Crazy. 9 points. 30 shots. They're 1-5 in quad 1 and 2 opportunities this season, 0-4 in quad 1 specifically. This is, if the tournament started tomorrow, Kentucky's probably not in the tournament. Here's a list of teams for fun that have more quad 1 wins than Kentucky. Are you ready? Lock in. Buckle up. Weber State, Southern Illinois, UC Irvine, Northwestern State. Trivia time. Where's Northwestern State?
Louisiana.
Is it? I'm
pretty sure.
I was hoping you knew because I had absolutely no clue. Let's look.
That's not fair if you're going to throw a trivia time at me and you don't know the answer.
Well, do you know where Louisiana?
No.
I'm going to butcher it bad. Natchitoches?
Oh.
Natchitoches?
I had
Natchitoches?
one of my professors at Butler was friends with was a professor there before. At one point, I knew how to pronounce that. I don't remember anymore. That's
Okay.
right. Yep, that city. Mm-hmm.
Northwestern State, 250th at KenPom, has more quad one wins than Kentucky. Grand Canyon, FGCU, and then Florida Atlantic and Sam Houston, they have 2 more quad one wins than John Calipari's Kentucky team. It's crazy. I mean, and I was on this podcast at the beginning of the season, before the season started, thinking that I was a little bit crazy for picking somebody else other than Kentucky to win the SEC. And now here we are on January 9th, and the words, I'm not sure Kentucky's a tournament team, nor do I have faith in Kentucky to put a tournament resume together in the last 2 months of the season. That's a crazy thing to say. And if you ask me to bet, I'd probably still bet on Kentucky making the tournament. But they do have work to do. Like, that is, like, straight up, they have work to do if they want to get in the tournament. They can't just coast and only beat the teams that they should beat the rest of the way. Because now that at this point, that list of teams is not good enough for them to make the tournament in March.
Yeah, that was probably the smartest thing you've said this season.
I know, right? There are a couple of, like, swing and misses. Like, at one point, I was questioning whether or not Kansas was going to be that good. Kansas is really good.
Yeah.
But there are some things that I'm proud of from preseason. That's one of them. Different SEC game. Here we go. Auburn and Arkansas. In